You are tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly show for video games, movies, TV shows, comics, tech news, and more.
Sponsored in part by Replays, Gameware, Movies, and More, and Creative Foundations.
Now your hosts, Sam Dunham, Cody Pinnick, Samantha Cross, and Josh Harrison.
Hey, welcome back to another Nerd Overload, the show that covers everything in pop and geek culture, from Atari to Zdarsky. I'm Josh.
I'm Cody.
I'm Sam.
We got another wonderful, great show for you today, but as always, it's our Check It Out.
Since Monday was May the 4th, Star Wars Day, I went through and watched the original Star Wars A New Hope, or back when it was just called Star Wars.
Me too. I watched the original Star Wars, but it was the special edition.
Womp womp.
Was it 95?
I think it was 95, yeah. No, I went through and watched the... it's called the Despecialized Edition. Some guy online went through and painstakingly edited out all of the special edition edits and all the edits. It's the closest thing to it, the original theatrical run version of it.
How did he change the little technical tweaks?
He went back through and found from old VHS and old film reel, and the guy went through everything.
Because I remember in the Han Solo scene in the cantina, they digitally made Han's head twitch or something when Greedo shoots at him.
Yeah, no, the original. It's as close to the original as possible.
So
nice.
Han shoots first.
Yes.
I forgot how much just garbage they put in it.
Oh yeah,
especially in Mos Eisley. There's CG big aliens just everywhere for no reason.
Or like when they're riding the land speeder through town and they near miss that big one and it rears back and a jaw was hanging from a bridle or something.
Yeah. And or there's one robot that punches another flying robot for some reason. It's just a bunch of cartoony garbage.
Yeah, I mean, why did he feel the need to add all that stuff in? It's I like the simplicity of the near amateur filmmaking he was doing,
Yeah, and there's a couple parts toward the end, on the Death Star, where there's just a flying robot going by for some reason.
Yeah, and they changed the explosion of the Death Star too, right?
Really?
Yeah,
I suppose they did. Now that I think about it, that was a really CG explosion.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why I love the original. They were practical effects, and they were in my eyes filmmaking at its classic core.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Sometimes I feel the reliance on technology makes some filmmakers a little lazy.
There's so many weird things about Star Wars 2 that when you think about it, you're like, how did this ever work at all? Just the opening of the movie, Episode 4. You're going into this movie, it's the fourth one, but
actually,
it's okay.
The very, very original didn't have Episode 4 in it.
Really?
It just said Star Wars.
So that's another special edition thing I didn't catch.
Yeah. They added that in to subsequent films after they decided that they were going to make Empire Strikes Back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, still, it opens with, hey, let's read a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, they might as well have handed you a pamphlet when you walked in the theater.
Well, I've actually seen, behind-the-scenes stuff of how they film that crawl. It's just really cool, because, it's there, they tilt the camera, and they just kind of scroll it.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
And, the whole first 20 minutes is mostly robots walking around.
Yeah, yeah.
And C-3PO complaining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. It's still a great movie, but you're why does this work? Because I feel like it shouldn't.
Yeah,
but it does.
You don't meet your main protagonist until, almost 20 minutes into it, you know? Until, they end up on Tatooine, right?
Yeah.
All your basic filmmaking stuff says that this shouldn't work, or this shouldn't keep people interested, but it does.
Yeah.
Also, all the wipes.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're terrible wipes.
Yeah, well, that was a theme they kept going, through all of them.
Yeah, it's part of the Star Wars style, but,
the crazy wipe.
I'm waiting for... I hope the new one has a star wipe.
Oh.
Star wipes in your Star Wars?
Yeah.
Nice.
I watched The Flash.
This
This week's
cool.
Flash.
Very cool.
It's the episode I've been waiting for. I don't even care about Reverse Flash. I've been waiting for this one.
I know. It's the episode that Iris finally found out that Barry Allen was the Flash. Is that what you've been waiting for? Is that what you're talking about? Huh?
No. I was waiting for Grodd.
Oh, yeah.
Because Grodd lives.
Grodd is great. The giant telepathic gorilla.
I tried to tell somebody at work about who Grodd was, and he just looked at me Like I just smacked a puppy in front of them. Like they didn't understand.
Oh man.
I'm like, it's a comic book thing. He's a giant, super intelligent gorilla.
And you know what? He was born right out of the 60s because gorillas were very popular in comics back then for some reason.
I blame Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
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 Lancelot Link. What a great show.
But I mean, it was a good episode. It was interesting. You see some like flaws that maybe some characters you thought were stronger, but when thrown into a situation like that, they don't know how to deal with it.
It was the first time that they really did anything without the safety net of Harrison Wells.
This is
in
true.
The background.
This is true, and that's like they're sitting there like it's like, well, how are we gonna beat this? And they're like, well, how'd you do it before? Well, we always had Wells around.
Because Wells has gone like full on villain. At this
Oh
point.
yeah, he's got like secret hideout and everything.
Oh yeah. You know, I jumped in about halfway through it, but I really liked how they did Grodd. How he didn't speak. He was telepathic. So
yeah.
Because a talking gorilla would have been really goofy. I think.
And expensive.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Unless they just like gave him some peanut butter and
I mean,
There you go.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know, man. You know, I don't know how expensive it'd be. I'm sure the gorilla actor union out there wouldn't.
yeah. The Gorillas Local 303.
But no, it was a good episode. Joe is absolutely terrified of gorillas.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and he gets kidnapped by Grodd, and he is like terrified, like somebody on like
Scare tactic?
scare tactics. I mean, he was absolutely terrified, and he pulled it off really well.
I saw he tried to offer him a banana.
Oh yeah, and Grodd was like, "Grodd, hate banana," and he like freaks out, and he's like, "Oh God, don't kill me."
Yeah, really good. And this next week is the finale, right?
No,
Really?
there should be 2 more episodes, I think.
Okay. Well, then it might be a 2-parter then or something because it's
Yeah, probably.
the teaser for the next episode looked an awful lot like a season finale.
Maybe I think it's supposed to be some kind of crazy super crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Arrow's finale is a 2-parter, so this probably is too.
Gotcha.
One would hope. But yeah, dudes who ran really fast and telepathic gorillas.
Makes sense.
Perfect. Excellent.
So as far as people who don't know, Age of Ultron came out over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think we're going to go ahead and start talking about that. Are we going to get spoilery before we delve into it?
I feel like we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
So-
let's just do the usual where we start general and then
And then we'll give them a warning. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
or maybe do general up until the break and then come back and get spoilery.
We could do. Yeah, we'll see how it goes here. Yeah. First impressions. What did you guys think of Avengers: Age of Ultron?
I mean, I liked it. I won't say it was as good as the Avengers, the
Well-
first one.
Well, it doesn't have the same spectacle,
No.
kinda, that the first one did.
No, because it was building up to that point, and
Yeah.
everyone was still kind of in awe of it. Now we've been there, done that, and
Yeah. I didn't not like it, but I didn't love it either. There's a lot of things in it that I didn't care for. It was all over the place, kind of.
The script seemed a little more slapdash.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I liked it an awful lot. I'm looking forward to going back and seeing it again, just to kind of look a little deeper into it and see some things that I've missed, maybe.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's not as strong as the first one.
They
But
didn't.
not by a long shot.
They didn't give a lot of things the time they should have. Stuff like Thor's little dip in the pool. Like, what was that about? They didn't explain that very well.
Yeah, yeah.
did you know Loki was supposed to be there?
Really?
Yeah, I read something today that Loki was supposed to be in that sequence.
That seems like a huge missed opportunity.
They filmed it and everything.
Wow.
Huh.
Blu-ray.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The vision wasn't explained hardly at all.
Yeah, see, I like the Vision a lot, but he wasn't. We know who he is because
Yeah.
we read comics, but yeah, he wasn't really explained. His powers were very ill-defined in the movie, I thought.
They weren't at all. All you knew is he could fly, and then one part he shoots a laser out of his crystal. Like it,
And that 1.5 scenes where you actually see him phase
Oh yeah,
because he has phasing powers.
yeah. Well, yeah. That's his deal. I thought the opening. I like that they started with the team together. you
Yeah.
know? That
Yeah,
they didn't
that
have,
was good.
It wasn't. They didn't have to go through the whole "let's get the band back together" kind of thing. It was they were already there. They were doing missions, and with the exception of some shaky CGI at the very beginning, I thought the opening sequence was actually really good. They're storming Baron Strucker's compound and stuff. I thought that was really good. But yeah, some of that CG was.
Oh yeah,
nuts.
like Hulk looked super. Like, I mean, obviously he is super fake, but I mean, he looked really, really fake.
Yeah, he did.
Thor for a brief second looked like a video game character.
Yeah.
It was like low poly. It makes me wonder if that scene was thrown in at the last minute to kind of pad out the running time a little bit.
Oh.
Or if they quick extended the fight scene at the beginning a little bit.
Is the romance subplot spoilers?
I don't know. You know what? Let's just go to spoilers now. Tell you what, if you don't want Avengers Age of Ultron spoiled, come back at the break. Come back in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So you've been warned.
This is your spoiler warning, brought to you by the Nerd Overload.
That's right. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. The love subplot between the Banner and the Black Widow seemed really out of place.
It was
to me.
garbage. It wasn't. They didn't. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They didn't develop it from any real place. It just happened.
That bugged me because, the first movie, they do this thing where they're setting up that you feel like Hawkeye and Black Widow had some kind of romantic past.
Well, not so much. Not so much that. I think it set up more that they were super, super duper best friends, which carried through to this film, I think.
Yeah. But I don't know.
It seemed like a romantic thing
it
at the
felt
time.
romantic to me.
Yeah. And, but then again, they tried the same thing in Captain America, too, where she was, flirting with Cap, through the whole thing, almost.
She wasn't really flirting with him. She kept trying to get him to hook up with chicks.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
The entire time, like, hey, you got a girlfriend yet? He's like, why is this such a thing with you?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And the only time they kissed was to be for cover.
Yeah,
So.
I guess you're right. But yeah, this whole thing with Banner just kind of came out of nowhere.
It really did, because it literally was like, I don't know, I felt like maybe because they were like, well, we're going to write in this weird scene with Hawkeye and his family, and he's married and happy and crap. And
I like that. I
did like that. And then that came way out of left field.
Yeah, I had no idea that was coming, and it was a welcome addition because it actually gave Hawkeye a reason for being. It gave him more than he was more than just a guy with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
He became the audience surrogate at that night.
He needed that development.
Yeah, he really did.
Honestly, I could easily say they wrote him so much better in this movie than they did in the past couple that he appeared in.
It would be hard not to.
True. I mean,
he spent 90% of the first Avengers movie mind controlled.
Yeah.
And before that, he showed up in 2 seconds.
Thor.
It could have been any actor in Thor.
But I don't know.
Forgot he was in Thor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
everyone does.
I don't.
Well,
I like that one line he says when Thor's beating down on that big guy, and he's like, "I'm really starting to root for this guy." But I don't know. I like how quippy he was. I like I just like the general personality of the whole thing. I mean, he had some great lines. Some of my favorite lines in the movie come from him.
It was almost the Hawkeye movie.
It kind of was a little bit.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he was one of the less developed characters, so give him some time.
I like that speech he gave to, or not really speech so much, but like that couple of lines he said to Scarlet Witch there near the end.
Yeah.
Was like, we're on a town that is flying.
Everyone is flying.
Everyone's flying. We're fighting robots, and I have a bow and arrow.
And it makes no sense.
Nothing makes sense.
But I'm going to go out there because that's my job.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Speaking of Scarlet Witch, what did you think of the additions to the cast? Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor-Johnson as Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch was good. Quicksilver didn't get enough time.
I agree.
I hated their accents. It really bugged me.
Yeah, it was kind of corny.
At the time it bugged me, but now that I'm kind of thinking, rolling it back in my head, I think they did an okay job. I think they did pretty serviceable. I mean, for nondescript Russian,
country that doesn't exist.
Yeah. It would have been nice if they would have said they're from Latveria or something, but it's Doctor Doom.
That's the whole time they're running through this place. I'm like, why isn't this Latveria? I wish this was Latveria.
Yeah.
When they're fighting Strucker in that castle, I'm like, why isn't Doctor Doom here? Can we have Doctor Doom, please?
Well, Doom was never part of Hydra. I mean, he probably had similar goals.
Yeah.
But I would see Doom thinking Hydra was like a rival that is lesser beneath him to be crushed by Doom.
Yeah. Speaking of new additions, what did you think of Ultron, played by James Spader?
Meh.
giant 8-foot robot James Spader.
I liked his quips.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah?
Like,
Okay.
they could have. It was either there was two in between. Like if he was going to be quippy, he should have been all the time quippy, or if he was going to be menacing, he should have been all the time menacing. It just kind of made him fall into this weird middle area where I'm like, are you funny? Are you super evil? I don't. It makes me not care enough either way.
See, it's kind of weird. I agree with you. I think he could have gone one way or the other. I mean, I could see what they were trying to do because he was basing his thought patterns off of Tony Stark, and I mean, who's quippier and sassier than Tony Stark?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Well, he's not here yet.
Yeah.
Next time.
But, I guess he was, original plans for the movie involved Spider-Man and Captain Marvel to show up at some point.
Really?
I wish they would have.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm really kind of disappointed at how little this movie set up the next set of Marvel movies.
Yeah.
It really doesn't do anything. It did a little bit of for Black Panther,
but not much.
Much.
Not for the average Joe.
They've set up Black Panther's villain more than they've set up Black Panther.
Yeah.
You know, Claw.
Yeah. That was a good scene.
That was a pretty good scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that they mention Wakanda.
Yeah. But that's all. That's all you get. And
don't even see Wakanda.
Yeah. There was no mentions, no ties to Ant-Man, which is coming out in like a couple months.
Yeah. I thought Ant-Man would just show up or something.
Or
I
would have thought at least a name drop, because in the comics, for people who don't know, Ultron was actually made by Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man.
Right. Going to be played by Michael Douglas coming up.
But I know a lot of people were kind of a little angry at the fact that they had Tony build Ultron versus...
I think that makes sense.
It does make sense.
In the universe that they set up, I think that makes more sense.
And with Tony Stark being who he is in the movies, it sounds like something he would do.
Yeah.
Especially after the whole PTSD of, he doesn't know how to deal with an alien invasion.
I'm tired of that plot. I'm really tired of that plot. You know what? You had that at the tail end of Avengers. You had it all through Iron Man 3. I thought the whole point of Iron Man 3 was him kind of getting over that. And here he is at Avengers 2, still neck deep in PTSD from being in outer space and seeing aliens.
Yeah, Tony hasn't grown at all.
No.
As a character.
No, he hasn't grown since he grew a lot in Iron Man 1, not much in Iron Man 2. He grew a lot in Avengers and then has just stopped.
I feel like as much as I love Robert Downey Jr. and as much as I love everything he's brought to the Tony Stark character, I almost feel like Marvel is Jack Sparrowing him a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah, because there was an awful lot of Tony in this, and Tony.
There's an awful lot
Tony's
of Tony
always
in
right.
everything.
Yeah,
there's an awful lot of Tony in every film he's in.
I'm kind of glad that's why I'm kind of glad he left the team at the end of this. Like the end of this movie, there's a whole new Avengers team. Everything's like,
that kind of sucks a little bit for me because I'm like all these characters that are on the new team. I'm like, I don't care about you. I don't know enough about you to be interested, and I don't care.
Well, I think that the upcoming Avengers movies are going to, or not Avengers movies, Marvel movies are going to do more to build the new Avengers team, which will then get thoroughly trounced in Avengers Infinity War Part 1.
Oh, yeah. I definitely feel like by the time we get, and I feel like, I don't know if maybe Marvel has no more plans after this, but
after Infinity War, no, there are no plans.
I mean, I feel like eventually we're going to get to Part 2, and just everybody who's ever been in any of the movies is just going to be there.
Boy, that would be nice.
Yeah.
You know what? I've said for a while, they don't even need to get all the X-Men. Just get Wolverine. Just get Hugh Jackman.
Oh, yeah.
To show up in one scene.
People
stab a robot or something and be done.
I mean, I also going back to the Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think they fleshed them out enough.
No. I
mean, you see them for a split second at the end of Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that really bugged me. In that end scene, this is going to be leading to a whole topic I want to talk about.
Sure.
They don't look like volunteers.
No.
They looked like prisoners of Hydra.
In this movie, they were stated as, they were volunteers to be turned into superhumans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. At the end of Captain America 2, they were locked up.
Yeah, in a cell.
Yeah.
Like Quicksilver's running around the cell trying to get out or what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And then Scarlet Witch is sitting there levitating blocks.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing. This movie, I felt like did not. This is one of one of my big hang-ups on it. As much as I liked it, is that I feel like they did not take the information from the other films, and there was no development past those storylines that are established.
Yeah, for all this talk of continuity, they're not doing a very good job.
Like at the end of Iron Man 3, he blows up all his suits for Pepper and says he's not going to be Iron Man anymore. Which, though, I will understand that he never stopped tinkering because he's Tony Stark and that's part of his character.
Right.
But I felt like that gesture is, then why did he do it?
Yeah, because he calls in a whole Iron Legion. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, you know what? It almost seems like you're supposed to watch this directly after Avengers, not after Iron Man and all that other stuff. You know?
But then the other scenes don't make sense because having Falcon show up and
yeah, well, you know what? Joss Whedon had a story he wanted to tell, and he didn't care what continuity was previously established.
I get that.
He just wanted to tell the story he wanted to tell. This movie felt an awful lot like we're telling you this story so we can tell you the next story. This was all a whole bunch of setup, I think.
Which kind of sucks because, like, if you're doing all this for the other movie and at the expense of this movie being good, you're going to lose people's interest for the next one.
Oh, I agree, but
they can't sustain that idea for too long, or people are going to get sick of it. Especially when your next movie isn't for, 2 more years?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like if you're wanting to build all this continuity, maybe make the movies come out faster?
Yeah, but at the same time, it takes time to make movies.
Yeah, I'm not being just the fanboy that says, I want it now. It just doesn't make sense to be building all of this continuity and then make people wait forever and lose interest.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
And it's like, that was like another thing. At the end of, like, Captain America, Black Widow goes off to go get her fresh start or whatever.
And here she is now.
Doing the exact same thing she did before.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Fury shows up with an old helicarrier.
Was Nick Fury just living in that barn?
I know, right?
For like a year and a half.
I think
he's just been squatting in Hawkeye's barn. Figuratively and literally.
Well, when you think about it, at the end of Captain America, when S.H.I.E.L.D. is dissolved and everything, and he kind of burns all his S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, he's like, he did look like a homeless guy.
But if all the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff was destroyed and he burned everything, where did he get a helicarrier at the end of this?
Yeah, they didn't even explain how that happened. I figured that was for the TV show to do.
Yeah, there was no
real... As far as I know, they have yet to do that.
Yeah, there was no real connection. Right now, the TV show is still going this whole two halves of S.H.I.E.L.D. fighting each other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the other S.H.I.E.L.D. group with Edward James Olmos, they don't have a helicarrier. They have a ship.
Yeah, right.
They have a regular ship. And then, there was no connection. Again, with this movie, I felt like there wasn't much connection to the rest of the continuity.
Yeah, I always thought they had this huge master plan for everything, and everything was going to connect perfectly, and it was... But now I'm starting to think they're flying by the seat of their pants a little more than I thought they were.
Yeah, you know what? I think they had a good plan up through the first Avengers movie, and now, because they're trying to get them out a little quicker, I think they're sacrificing some plot development issues for the sake of having more.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Movie, it's been the most ambitious cinematic event to ever happen.
Oh sure,
ever.
Oh sure.
And it's been great. I mean, it's made them lots of money. It's made people love superhero movies again. But I feel like now we're getting to this point where they were running so fast, they're starting to trip on their own feet.
We might be peaking.
Yeah, you knew Marvel wasn't going to put out nothing but hits. You knew something was going to be a little bit lacking. It's a shame that it, and don't get me wrong, I still like this movie a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoy this movie.
It's not their worst one.
It's not, but it's kind of a shame that this is the one that they kind of have started to trip a little bit on,
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, you've got all these different directors with all these different ideas. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you can't. They all can't be part of the greater Marvel hive mind.
All the movies feel remarkably similar.
True.
Because 75% of them have been origin movies, and how many times do you see the same origin?
Yeah. Looking at you, Spider-Man, I really hope you're not an origin story.
Oh, it's gonna be.
No,
Don't.
I've heard it. I've heard he starts as Spider-Man, and it's going to be, from what I've heard, it's 4 movies in 4 years, like the Harry Potter thing, covering him going from like 4 years of high school.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like that idea. I mean, I mean, it'd be one thing if it was a brand new hero that not a lot of people know about, like, say like Captain Marvel or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
With Spider-Man, everybody knows who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is one of the most iconic superheroes in American culture.
Mm-hmm.
Or just in world culture, period. Pop culture.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up there with Batman and Superman.
He's the most, Forbes did a thing here the other day, he is the most bankable of the superhero movies. Yeah, he has made more money per film than Batman.
Wow. Well, there's been some really bad Batman movies.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, there haven't been some great Spider-Man movies either, but at the same time, people still got excited about them.
All of them are pretty passable. None of them are unwatchably terrible.
Oh, I don't know. Have you seen Spider-Man 3 lately?
That one's pretty bad.
I thought it was all right when I saw it in the movies.
That was a long time ago.
Watch it again.
It's
Watch
bad.
it again.
His dance scene down the sidewalk.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a bit rough.
It's so goofy. I wanted to talk about Black Widow getting damseled in the jail.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty crappy. Like, I'm not saying you can't put a female character in a damseled position, but it did nothing to serve the plot.
It really didn't.
It did, yeah.
Now, if they would have explained that, Ultron was sharing part of Banner's personality, and that it was the Banner side of his brain that was kind of firing and saying, hey, maybe I should get her to myself. Or if they tried to introduce Jocasta, the female robot. In the comics, Ultron created two robots, Vision and Jocasta, and they were supposed to serve as like the perfect, android man and woman to restart
his world,
essentially. And in the comics, Jocasta's brain patterns were based off of the Wasp. And, as they were going through and changing things, if they would have explained that he was going to do something like that with Black Widow, that would have made a little more sense for him to capture her and keep her separate from everyone else. But the way they did it now, as it stands, didn't do anything to serve the
it just
plot.
Gave Banner somebody to rescue later to look good. And he didn't even do it in like a cool way. He just kind of shows up, blows up the door. Hey, you're free.
Yeah.
Like it was really lame.
Yeah. And them the two of them constantly talking about, oh, let's just take off. Let's just go.
Let's just run away.
We're in the middle of a battle that could engulf the entire Earth, but let's just go. But no,
yeah.
Those are heroes. You stick around and you do the job,
Which, that's another thing that I did like. They were heroes.
Yeah.
They helped people. They saved people.
We did see more of that.
They were concerned about collateral damage, unlike Superman and Man of Steel.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Like, they were actually superheroes instead of...
Oh, yeah, I did like that.
Superpowered people fighting in a city.
Because, shoot, the majority of the Ultron fight at the end was them, saving people.
Yeah.
Instead of just punching robots.
Which is what superheroes are supposed to do, and it always makes me happy when they do it in
they
the
even
movies.
kind of had that a little bit in the first Avengers, where like Captain America is like ordering police to like funnel like civilians down this street.
Oh
and whatnot.
Yeah, even Black Widow is concerned about hitting people with their motorcycle on that one. Out of the way, beep beep.
That was a good part of the movie, though.
All right, so hey, we're going to go ahead and take a break here, but before we do, if you guys were to give this a out of 10 rating, what would you guys give it?
7.
7.5, 8.
Yeah, I'd probably give it about a 7.5 or 8 on a good day. Like I said, I'd have to go back and see it again. Oh, the credit cookie. Let's talk about that for a second.
Oh,
what did you think of that?
Yeah,
the mid-credit deal.
I was confused. Like,
Thanos?
Yeah, Thanos.
But I think they've been pussyfooting around Thanos forever, and it wasn't that big of a surprise. It's like, yep, here it comes.
You know what? If he didn't pop up in Guardians and be full on in Guardians, I think it would have been a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Than this.
Yeah, I mean, the part that confused me is, now granted, this could be just the lazy filmmaking stuff. Marvel just wanted to make references, but in the original Thor,
I know what you're going to talk about.
Yes, the Infinity Gauntlet was on Asgard.
Yeah, you know what? They'll try to come up with some excuse or some reason why it was there. Maybe it's like a fake hologram, so maybe someone stole it or something. But, the real reason, Marvel had no idea that they were going to do the Infinity Gauntlet story when they were doing Thor. They didn't know if because you got to remember, Thor was the third of the superhero movies that had come out. They didn't even know if Avengers was going to work or not.
Yeah.
So they threw that in there as a background thing to go, oh man, look at that. And at the time, I believe they had no plans for Infinity Gauntlet, and now they're just going to kind of try to forget that it happened.
Thor was the first big gamble. That was the first one that's like, okay, this one's kind of weird.
It really was, yeah. Because, I mean, it was the first one that was, like, out and out, like, magic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Magic
You
stuff.
got your space alien ancient gods with powers.
Yeah.
Like, honest powers. But, I don't know. Thanos is coming. So.
Whether we like it or not. All right, and we'll be back here in a minute.
Nerd Overload is brought to you in part by Replays, Gameware, Movies, and more. Replays is the place for all your gaming needs, from retro up through current-gen systems and accessories. They even have a free customer rewards program. Mount Vernon Avenue, Marion, across from the Marion Plaza. 751-4072 or online at facebook.com/replaysmarion.
Nerd Overload is sponsored in part by Creative Foundations.
Hi, my name is Robert.
Hi, my name is Amber.
Hi, my name is Jessica.
I'm Jimmy, and I work at Crave Foundations,
The store that employs people with developmental disabilities.
We have 4 locations.
Delaware, Mount Vernon, Marysville, and Urbana.
Our website is creativefoundations.org.
Find us on Facebook.
All right, and we're back. That was Vampire Weekend with the song Worship You. I think it's a new song, and I don't know. I think it's in like some bank commercial with some dogs or something.
Some dogs in costumes.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've only heard a couple Vampire Weekend songs.
Yeah.
Really not enough for me to form an opinion.
Yeah, same here. Anyway, we're back, and
we should probably talk about Free Comic Book Day.
yeah, we
just,
should talk about Free Comic Book Day.
took
That's
part
right.
in.
Yeah, we took part in a lot of Free Comic Book Day.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
We actually made the trek to 2 shops this year.
From opposite ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, sorry about that, buddy. You ended up having to drive it.
Hey, it's okay. It was fine.
Yeah, but we checked out Subculture in Bucyrus.
Yep.
This was the first year they had done it.
It was really good
And they had a
turnout.
really, really good turnout. I'm
It
really
was.
happy
It was,
for them.
it was good. It was a good time.
Yeah.
More people in costume than I would expect for a shop in the middle of Bucyrus.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then I liked how they reorganized their shop a little bit.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it looks real good.
I did like that a lot. And, I mean, theirs was a really good day. I mean, it wasn't anything too overblown, but, I mean, it was just nice to see a bunch of people in the
Oh, yeah, exactly. And from what I saw, everyone was buying stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And that's excellent.
It was good to just see a lot of people of varying ages and genders enjoying comics.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was another thing. There were a lot
Yeah.
of kids, a lot of, everyone was out.
Boys, girls, the obvious comic book crowd, i.e. us.
Yep. There were a couple people in costume even wandering around, which was really cool.
Yep. There was a guy running around as Netflix's Daredevil.
Yeah. There was a girl Vegeta. I think that's
From
who that
Dragon
is.
Ball Z.
Yeah,
Yep.
that thing.
There was a kid dressed as Naruto from the anime Naruto.
I feel like there's something else we're not thinking of.
Yeah.
But no, it was a really good.
Yeah,
it was a really good time. And then after that, we made the trek in the opposite direction to Hilliard to Pack Rat Comics.
Yes, which is always a big event.
It is just a huge big deal.
Yeah,
For such a small plaza.
They turn it into like almost a full on convention over there.
At
Just
this, At this
about.
point, yeah, it pretty much is.
I mean, they always get a special guest.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mikey's Late Night Slice pizza truck shows up.
Mm-hmm.
They always have they have like a bounce castle or something like that for
Yep,
kids.
Bounce House.
Bounce House, Box City downstairs.
Yeah, the box
Yeah.
city downstairs.
Yeah.
That was
Just
pretty
a
cute.
maze of cardboard boxes.
Yeah, they built like a whole entranceway to like the Hall of Justice that they put out front too. That was impressive.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was, and it said like Pack Rat Comics and stuff on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that was really cool.
They took over the whole plaza. They
Just
have like this cul-de-sac plaza. They used almost every room in it
Yeah,
this time.
Well, there are a lot of empty spaces in that plaza.
that Pack Rat just keeps kind of snatching up a little bit here and there. you
Oh
know?
yeah, I mean they got their game room, and then they took over one of the other rooms. They probably rented it for like the day for like an artist alley.
yeah. Their artist alley was really good too.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
really impressed by that. Actually, picked up a print by a guy named Sean Forney.
I really liked
Yeah.
that. It was a good print.
Yeah,
that
the
black and white Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
I dug that quite a bit. But no, it was a really good time.
Oh yeah, it's always a good time, and there was lots of people in costume.
Oh yeah,
Of course, they always have a costume
man,
contest.
yeah, just a ton of people.
And there were some great
yeah.
costumes
It was
too.
really good ones.
Yeah, that whole group of X-Men
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
people, that was really good.
Oh yeah, that was a really good one.
There was an Arrow group that was really good.
Oh yeah, their costumes were pretty good
Yeah,
too.
they were good.
And then there were like little kids running around in costumes, and
Again, really good to see, the younger crowd come
oh
out.
yeah, kids, and there were some young girls in costumes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like seeing the younger generations get excited about this kind of stuff.
It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, and it gives me hope that the bloodline will go on.
Yeah, right, yeah.
The nerd bloodline.
Yeah.
It's Free Comic Book Day. You get a handful of free comics. You have a good time. You get to hang around like-minded people. I talked to a guy in the artist alley where you grabbed your print.
Uh-huh.
I talked to a guy over in the corner over miniatures for a while.
Oh, excellent.
But no, he was a really cool guy. It was a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little sad we didn't stay for comic poker, but
I
we've
thought
done
they
that.
didn't do it this year.
I was under the impression.
Yeah,
they
it
weren't
started
gonna
at
do it.
7.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
well.
They had a sign for it outside.
Well, we were watching Avengers.
Yeah,
at
we
that
went to go
time.
watch
That-
Avengers. Yeah.
So I think it's worth it.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've done it before. It's not going to change much.
Yeah.
I just wish their basement area was as great as it used to be, like where they kept all their like back issues comics.
They definitely downsized the back issues a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have that.
Yeah, I understand. But again, it's Free Comic Day. If you've never been, next year around May 2nd time,
It's the first Saturday in May.
first Saturday in May,
Mm-hmm.
go do it. Go
Yeah.
check it out.
Very, very cool
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a good time. Have fun. I wish they didn't limit the amount of comics you could take.
Oh, well, they only
Like, I
get so
understand
many.
they have to because they only get so many.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it's in the spirit of Free Comic Book Day to limit.
But the thing you got to keep in mind: these stores, they pay for the free comics. They're
Oh.
loss leaders. Yeah, they get them at a severely discounted rate, but they do pay for them. So
Well, then that makes a lot more sense.
yeah. Switching gears from things that were super awesome to things that might be questionably awesome. New picture for the Suicide Squad movie came out.
Yep, of all the cast in their costumes.
All of Task Force X.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it. What'd you guys think?
I don't not like it. Nothing was surprising. Nothing
there
was horrible.
They were
Yeah.
varying degrees for me.
Oh yeah, care to elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Harley Quinn's costume. I understand where it comes from. I've never liked New 52 Harley.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal.
I think the actress looks great
Oh no, she looks.
as Harley.
Oh yeah, she looks fine. I don't like the general design.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's just my personal thing. If I don't like the New 52 Harley Quinn costume.
I don't think classic Harley Quinn would work in real life.
It
No,
wouldn't fit.
no, it
Yeah.
wouldn't. I understand that. It's my personal gripe.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just saying it's my personal thing.
Well, for that character in particular, I'm gonna have to wait until I see
This is true.
her act. I mean,
This
Yeah.
is true.
you know what? It could be the worst costume in the world, but if she does an excellent job playing the character, you know what? That goes a long way to redeem the part
Yeah.
for sure.
I think it's a logical evolution of her character from the modern comics, from the Harley Quinn comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got that shirt that says "Daddy's Little Monster" on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Killer Croc looked great. I
That
didn't even
was-
realize Killer Croc was going to be in it.
That was an excellent bit of, and that's prosthesis. That's not.
Oh, is it?
It's practical.
Huh.
Yeah, they actually made a giant latex Killer Croc costume on top of him,
Huh.
and that is really cool.
Oh yeah. That part was cool. The other part, and we've had this discussion before. When they revealed the Deadshot with the mask costume.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that mask. I just don't like it.
Well, see, I'm totally opposite. I think the mask is the only thing that stands out to the character, because without it, you just have Will Smith in orange and black pseudo military armor,
Yeah.
which looks like every other member of the team, basically.
Yeah.
True.
I think with that mask now, do I think that mask is going to be on screen for more than 5 minutes of the entire runtime of the movie? Absolutely not. There's no way they're going to cover Will Smith's face.
They'll slap it on for action sequences, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
for the stuntman.
Yeah, pretty much. That's going to be it.
For the stuntman, and when they CG him entirely.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I like it. I think they could have done it better. But like I said, I think it makes the character pop a little bit more.
I think it's the all white. I think it feels a little plain to me with
Yeah,
the weird purple eyes.
Yeah.
There's a lot more color going on than
there is.
DC usually does for movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. The Captain Boomerang costume looked pretty good.
Yeah,
you know?
it's about standard for
it's-
Yeah.
He looks a lot like Captain Boomerang Jr.
It does. Yep, trench coat and with the scarf and the
Yeah.
boomerangs. Yeah. There are a couple characters that they didn't name. and I'm not quite sure who they're supposed to be. The guy covered in tattoos.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although I think
that was
that's
the Joker. No.
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Actually, I think that's El Diablo, who's a more recent character. His fire powers was a gang member or whatever.
See, I didn't get a real good look at him on the image I saw. I thought maybe he was going to be like Mr. Zaz or something. I was like,
no, I don't
is
think
he
it's
even a
like
member
that.
of the Suicide Squad?
No. Well, they're not gonna touch that because he's on Gotham right now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I was surprised to see Katana was there.
She looked really cool too.
That was probably,
yeah.
that's probably the best one of the bunch. She
Oh,
looked
yeah.
like she just came right off the comic page.
Oh yeah, she looked perfect.
A lot like Young Justice.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting crap and got halfway decent. So
Exactly. Yeah. You know what? It gives me like a half a glimmer of hope that this might not turn out to be half bad.
Yeah.
And you know what? For DC, not half bad is probably the best they're going to get.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I mean, I'm going to watch all these movies.
Oh sure. Oh yeah. I'm a sucker. Going to spend that money one way or the other.
It's got superheroes in it. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's somebody who just gets real mad every time we start trashing on DC movies.
If you do, contact us.
Yeah,
staff at
please.
nerdoverload.com.
Yeah, that's what I was
or
going
on
to say.
The Facebook
If
page,
we're making
whatever.
you real mad right now, I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah. Don't be shy. Speak up for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're welcome to all opinions.
Mm-hmm.
We may not agree, but we're not going to say you can't have them. Maybe this will be the glimmer of hope. The dirty dozen,
Yeah.
the dirty dozen we want, and
I think it's our best bet.
Right now,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so.
And,
outside the DC animated universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and DC's always had the best villains, so that's their,
Very true.
Maybe
That's
that'll
very
be
true.
their
Yeah.
best movie.
Yeah. They do. All their characters tend to have a really good
Rogues Gallery.
rogues gallery. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of movies, did you guys see that thing about the Boba Fett movie?
I did not, but I'm
Surprises
intrigued.
no one ever.
Yeah. Why don't you tell me a little about that?
He apparently Disney / Lucasfilm has been hinting at they're going to do a Boba Fett origin movie.
Well, they haven't been hinting. They pretty much.
Well, yeah, they've said Boba Fett
It's
origin
happening.
movie, which confuses me because
Don't we already know his origin?
yeah, and that's what a lot of people online have been saying. We know where he came from. He's a clone of Jango Fett that did not go through the growth acceleration process that the others did.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be his. Now, granted, in the Clone Wars animated series, they did touch on some of his time afterward.
Right. I was going to ask you about that. Do you suppose that this movie is going to tie parts of the Clone Wars show into it, or is this going to be what definitively locks out Clone Wars as out of continuity?
I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're locking out Clone Wars because right now they're making a big push in Star Wars Rebels Season 2 of a lot of Clone Wars content.
Okay, that's.
I mean, a lot of characters from Clone Wars are showing up.
Okay.
Anakin's Padawan, Captain Rex of the Clone Troopers, and a couple of his brothers are going to be there. They're walking around this derelict clone walker. I mean, I think they're doing as much as they can to keep more recent Star Wars stuff in the continuity.
Okay.
Basically, I think when they're locking out the EU stuff, I think it's a lot of the novelizations of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like the new Jedi Order and all that stuff.
Right.
Because they're creating the new mythos.
Right.
Which is fine. I'm not as upset about that as other fans are. But I think maybe we're going to touch on more Boba Fett growing up, running around with other bounty hunters, learning to be a bounty hunter.
Like 20-year-old, like
Not
Boba
baby
Fett.
baby Boba Fett and a
Baby
little
Fett.
a little IG-88 and a little Greedo. And
It's the bounty babies.
yeah, a little IG-88 is like a floppy disk.
Nice.
Make it happen, Disney.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll be interesting.
Star Wars bounty baby.
I love Boba Fett. I understand a lot of people are like, why is he so popular? Why is he so popular?
Because he looks crazy cool. He's the coolest designed.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Star Wars
he definitely
character
is.
of any of
Without a
them.
doubt. Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying what makes him cool is the mystery. Why do you have to ruin it? They're cashing in. People love Boba Fett. People buy Boba Fett. Lots of people dress as Boba Fett and Mandalorians.
Yeah.
They do Mandalorian armor just as much as they do Stormtroopers and Darth Vader. Per capita, if I'm finding Star Wars cosplayers, 9 times out of 10, they're a Boba Fett or a Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah, you can't throw a rock at a convention without hitting a Deadpool and a Mandalorian.
Exactly.
Or Mandalorian Deadpool.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I have not.
I have, yes. Bright red and black, Boba Fett bouncing around doing antics. Yeah.
Darn you, Deadpool.
Yeah, dressing as Deadpool does not give you carte blanche to act like a jerk.
I totally agree.
That's our soapbox on that one.
There we go.
But I mean, it'll be interesting. I'll watch it.
Well,
I like
Star
this.
Wars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every day is Star Wars for me. I understand what's going on. I kind of like this idea of them building these anthology films.
Yeah.
Telling these stories that happen, not necessarily within the timeline, but they're happening about the same time.
Like ancillary to the... It's not stuff you have to absolutely watch to get... It's like...
Yeah. I mean,
extra.
it's not like they're building...
It's like Phantom Menace. You can totally skip it and be fine. Or if you want a little more information, you can watch it.
Yeah.
If you want C-3PO's stupid origin. I kept thinking about that the whole time I'm watching New Hope the other day. I'm like, Darth Vader built him.
Yeah.
No!
I actually saw that...
No! Okay.
I saw this comic once where they it's at Cloud City after C-3PO gets dismantled by the Empire, and has a bunch of troopers like talking to Vader, and C-3PO's pieces are like laying all over this table. It's like, do you want us to wipe his memory, sir? And all this other stuff, and he's just sitting there holding his head, and he just kind of tilts his head into his head, like he's genuinely sad. But that kind of ruins Darth Vader being sad for me. I don't know. As far as a Boba Fett movie, I'll watch it. I think everyone will watch it. People may complain that either they don't want a Boba Fett origin or stop mounting this character on a pedestal.
Yeah, we're going to have to see him actually do something cool, like within the confines of like the movie universe, because they've written all this story about him, and he's cool. But what in the movies has he done? He just kind of stood around and he got ate by a sand pit.
Pretty much. The most he did was jump with a jetpack and got hit by a stick.
His death was a comic relief moment in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
He was the butt of a joke, like a blind Han Solo joke.
Yeah. Boba Fett where? And he turns and hits his jetpack, malfunctions, and he falls into the pit.
Yeah. So they're really going to have to do something to like prove that this guy is as cool as
everyone makes him sound to be.
The last 20 years worth of Star Wars,
fandom.
It just proves how cool that design is.
Yeah.
That he doesn't have to doesn't have to do anything cool because he already looks so cool.
I mean, come on. In the original version of the trilogy, he literally said like two lines.
2 lines. Yeah.
As you wish, and he's no good to me dead.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. Which they went back and redid. When the prequels came out, they took the guy who did the voice, who was Jango,
and the clones,
and he redid those 2 lines.
Oh God!
For the re-release of Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
You guys want to talk about some game news?
Yeah, we haven't talked about video games yet.
Sure.
Yeah,
surprisingly,
Mirror's Edge's sequel that EA's been kind of teasing around that they're working on it. For a long time. Finally,
the first game was great.
Oh, yeah, I love that game.
For people who don't know what Mirror's Edge was kind of like this puzzle-esque action game where you're basically doing parkour free running on rooftops and whatnot.
In the first person.
Yeah.
It was a first-person game more about running and jumping and getting to your destination than it was about shooting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was some, but not a whole lot. Mostly kick this guy in the face, keep running.
Yeah.
I mean, it's visually a very interesting game. Like, there's a lot of white with starks of red. It's very much it's a very artsy puzzle visual game.
So they're doing a sequel?
Yeah, and it has a date on it now. It's going to come out next year.
Oh, wow.
Which is better than the nebulous someday.
Yeah.
Do you see them trying to add more to like the story of it, or are they just going to
I hope
more
so,
run to this thing and do the thing?
I remember seeing teasers of it before. It seemed like they were going to add some story because it showed like the main character getting her iconic black tattoo around her eye. And
yeah, there wasn't much story in the first one.
Yeah, it was a oppressive government, and you're basically a parcel runner, running things that the government doesn't want you to run.
So you're Johnny Mnemonic?
Kinda. But female.
No, I just want to make a Johnny Mnemonic reference.
And with a messenger bag instead of...
his brain?
His brain that only holds like a terabyte or something.
I like that movie.
I think it was less than a terabyte.
No, yeah, it was like nothing.
Yeah.
By today's standards, it was like nothing. Like 52 megs or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like Keanu Reeves. Okay, I believe that.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think about the time that movie was made. You know, that was a big amount of storage.
I like that terrible movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's awful. I do love it, though.
Yeah, I like William Gibson, though, and it's based off of one of his stories.
Right.
But it's a sequel to a game that I will play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different game, and we need more different games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of shades of brown shooters with chest-high walls.
And I always like seeing a first-person game that is not about shooting.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love
I think that's an underutilized thing.
Yeah. I like Portal. I mean, that's technically shooting, but you're not technically shooting anyone.
Oh, we could have a conversation all day on whether or not Portal's a shooting game or not.
I know, right? I don't know. I just like games that challenge me, like, mentally.
Yeah.
You know, how am I going to solve this puzzle? What is the best way to solve this puzzle?
That's why I like point-and-click adventure games so much.
Yeah.
Well, hey, speaking of sequels, or kinda, I guess, you were telling me before the show that the guy who did Castlevania is doing like a spiritual sequel kind of thing.
Yeah, Koji Igarashi, the guy who... He's not the creator of Castlevania, but he's the creator of the modern Castlevania.
Okay.
He's the guy behind Symphony of the Night. It's hard to say.
I love Symphony of the Night.
Is teasing and hinting around that he's going to do a Kickstarter and kind of do a spiritual successor to Castlevania.
Oh, interesting.
Kind of like Keiji Inafune and Mighty Number 9.
Right, yeah.
This is the Mighty Number 9 of Castlevania games, is what it sounds like.
Well, that's cool. You know, I enjoy Castlevania.
Yeah, I've missed Castlevania. We were spoiled with Castlevanias back on the DS. We get one every year or year and a half.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since we've had a good one.
I was about to say, it's better than those 3D ones they brought out.
The Mercury Steam, I think, is the company that did them. Those crappy
Oh, yeah, those are pretty
God of War knockoff Castlevania.
Yeah, those slashers.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's take everything that people like about Castlevania, throw it out, and make God of War with a whip.
Pretty much.
I'll tell you, I've been thinking about this a lot with the advent of like Kickstarter and more or less famous people getting on Kickstarter to fund new projects.
Mm-hmm.
It's really changed the scope of gaming, where it used to be if you wanted to make games or something, you had to be part of a studio and not really get a say in what you want to make.
Yeah, you had to make a particular kind of game. Like it had to be a big budget. Like you couldn't make a 2D game anymore because people would tell you people aren't going to buy 2D games.
Right.
But now with the advent of the internet and everything, and this connected culture we have nowadays, I feel like artistically minded people can actually fulfill themselves in doing what they want to do, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a ukulele.
Yeah, exactly.
Like nobody makes 3D platformers anymore because apparently they thought they wouldn't sell, but then Ukulele starts their Kickstarter and they make $1 million in
40 minutes.
Well, yeah.
Or like, look at Chroma Squad. You just wrote a review of it on the website. That was a Kickstarter, and I mean, it is a turn-based strategy RPG based around Power Rangers. You would think there would be like no major market for that, and yet,
guess what?
It's incredibly niche.
It did phenomenally well, and it was a really good game.
It's a fantastic game. Yeah, check out that review, nerdoverload.com.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, in a corporate setting, that game would never get made.
Oh no, the suits would be like Power what? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turn-based strategy? No, this is not shooting from the first person.
Yeah. Why does this look like old sprites? Why isn't it not polygonal in 3D?
Why we're not getting actors in motion cap suits?
Yeah. Right. But no, I think I think you're right. Kickstarters are really good.
I mean, I feel bad. I feel like I don't. It's kind of hard for me. I have a limited expendable income, but I love the fact that there are people out there that are excited about things and go, hey, I like the idea of this. Mm-hmm. Let's try to make it happen. Like Mighty Number 9. I really want to play that.
I do too.
If it ever gets done,
it would be nice. It would be nice if it ever finished.
Again,
September.
Yeah, he's getting close.
That is the double-edged sword with Kickstarter. It may or may not happen.
Yeah. Raise your hand. How many people have gotten burnt on Kickstarter sitting here?
I have not.
I have not donated anything to Kickstarter.
Ooh,
so.
I have. I got burnt.
I kind of felt a little burnt by Double Fine Adventure because it took so long.
Yeah. Do you remember the guy who did the online game Super Mario Crossover?
Yes, that's a fun game.
That was a fun game. He was going to make a license-free version of it. Like, he was going to go through and change the sprites and make an actual game, create original levels, and he put up a modest Kickstarter. And I only threw like $5 into it, so I don't feel as burnt. But the game never came out. They squandered all the money. They never did any development on the game, and people are just out that cash.
Yeah, and they just canceled it.
And they just canceled it. It's done. Yeah. So that's, $5 that
You'll never see again.
I'll never see again. Which, I mean, again, $5, it's a negligible amount. It's just, the idea that, you back something like that and get totally burnt on it.
It's a gamble.
It is.
There's a couple games that I've backed that just aren't done yet.
Yeah.
The Shantae Half Genie Hero, it's not done, and I don't even think it has a date on it. And the guys that did Cthulhu Saves the World?
Oh, okay, those guys.
Z-Boy.
Yeah. Z-Boy, yeah.
I backed their new one, Cosmic Star Heroine, and I don't know when that's coming out. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. You start these developers. They get way more money than they ask for. They start getting great grand ideas of everything else that they want to add into the game, and that adds more time to the project. And sometimes it adds too much scope to it. You know what I mean? And yeah,
they get feature creep where they just keep adding features and features and features.
Yeah, yeah. There was one that I almost backed. It was the people who made City of Heroes, City of Villains, did a game, City of Titans or something like that. And I'm thankful I didn't back it because it was supposed to be out 6 months ago, and they just keep adding features, and it's never going to get done.
I'm going to throw this out there: be very aware of backing anything that's an MMO.
Yes,
because it's way too much work and way too much money to make an MMO. It's kind of pie in the sky thing. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You need a big business to back you for.
Everyone wants to be the next World of Warcraft. Guess what? No one's pulled it off yet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, people have thrown millions and millions of dollars at games to try and have the next Warcraft, and it hasn't happened. So
yeah, guess what? Warcraft's still going. They have a formula that works, and people seem to like it. Mm-hmm. Got all these other MMOs that ever come out, and some have grand ideas, but then everyone's hot for a minute, and then everyone's gone. And then guess what? Your paid per month subscription game is now free to play with a cash store.
Boy, that sounds like you're a little bitter there, buddy.
Well, there are lots of games that I really liked that I wish would have panned out better.
What about that pirate one that you guys were hot into there?
Oh, Archage? I haven't touched that. I keep thinking
either.
about it. I keep thinking about going back, but I never
that
did.
That one's kind of hard. That one's really, really tough to get into.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of micromanagement and whatnot within that one.
It was really innovative. Though,
it is.
Really
it
innovative
has some
and
great
different.
ideas, but it's one of those Korean-esque kind of MMOs. It's tough, especially when you're a free-to-play player.
Yeah, they keep you from owning land.
Oh, it's real.
You're basically a second-class citizen.
You pretty much are.
Wow.
You can only farm on public farms that they set up, and you only get 10 labor points a day or something like that.
Whereas if you pay, I had more labor points than I knew how to do with. I was a subscriber for a month, and they just keep giving you labor points while you're logged off, so you come back and you have a bazillion.
Wow.
Guess what?
Wow.
I can mine 10 things, chop down maybe 10 trees, and then I had to sit and wait for my points to regenerate. It was awful. I think part of that's why I kind of just didn't.
I think you gave me some stuff once so I could
sell for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. There's lots of games I just wish would have happened better. There's Pirates of the Burning Sea, which was a really neat MMO, and nothing really that died out, burned out quick.
Not that Old Republic is doing bad, but it'd be cool if it was doing better because I really like it.
Oh yeah, I like it too. I've been playing that a lot. And
Star Trek Online.
Yeah, it's a great game. The ship combat is amazing.
I think it's a little too complicated and a little too fetch questy, but it had a lot of great ideas and probably the best. Yeah, like you said, best ship combat of any MMO I've ever played.
Right.
Oh yeah, I think that's pretty much. What more can you really say about Kickstarter and backing games and things? Yep.
Yeah. I think you're right. You know what? I actually think we're about at our time. So again, you've been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for listening. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can also find us on Facebook at our Nerd Overload website.
Yeah, that's right.
And on Twitter at nerd_overload.
Yep, and I think we mentioned it earlier in the show, but our email address is staff@nerdoverload.com. If you have any questions, comments, anything for us.
You want to yell at us for dissing on DC movies all the time?
Yeah. Send it that way. Again, if you're in the Marion area and you have a question for us that gets picked, we will give you a free dozen of Andrew's pastry donuts. So, you know.
And if you're out of the area, I'll give you a Steam key for the game Lovely Planet.
There you go. Perfect. All right. So until next week, thanks for listening.
This show was sponsored in part by Replays, Gameware, Movies, and More, and Creative Foundations.